Welcome, everyone, to Mindful Mondays with Laura Cross, where we provide education, resources, connection, and collaboration to others that can support you on your mindfulness and your wellness journey. Today, we have a remarkable guest joining us on the show. Please welcome Bobby Aldridge, the visionary creator of BAMmetrics. Bobby's journey is nothing short of inspiring. He's gone from a dual Division I athlete that played in college basketball, baseball, to overcoming injuries in a serious car accident. So he's here to share his remarkable story of resilience and his innovative approach to prehabilitation and rehabilitation. So, Bobby, it's an absolute honor to have you with us here today. Welcome.
Thank you for having me on. I love your beginning. That's awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Inspiring.
Thank you. So your journey is truly remarkable. You went through the challenges of, being a double, the athlete at that college level, and then you had to face the setbacks of the injuries, the car accident. So can you tell us a little bit about your experience and how it gave you inspired you to create the BAMmetrics?
Well, I started out, I was an athlete in college. And during that time, I got in a car accident and broke my back. So I was out for a year. So I missed that year of eligibility at USF. So I was taking kinesiology at that time. So long story short, I got finally better with all the stuff I was doing, rehabbing and all that. And later got done with school and I started training and I got one certification and I thought I knew everything because it was one certification. It made it super simple and I thought I knew everything. And over 30 years of doing this now, I 12 years ago came up with this equipment that was helping people move better when I wasn't there with them. So it's easier for them to do it at home. It reduces their pain, it improves their performance, and it's made for pro athletes and it's made for weekend warriors. But all the certifications and all the education, all the stuff I did, it was so much. It was like, how do you get people to move properly? And how do you teach average people at home to do this on their own so you don't need a trainer every day? It's like brushing your teeth. You have to do a little bit every day. And if you do that with your body, you feel great. And sometimes it takes time. If you have an injury, it probably just didn't happen out of the blue. It probably happened in time. Like babies are the most functional people in the world. They move incredibly. They squat, they play, they are on the ground. But nowadays, if you're 70, 50, they can't even squat down and get in that position anymore because they're so tight. And so I literally wrote a book called The Hidden Risk of Being a Desk Jockey for all the people out there working. It was like, how do I feel better? And so I kind of put the book together to explain to people you can do this stuff on your own. There's just a few movements that you do. This is the book. That's what it looks like. It's on Amazon. You can find it. If you put in Bobby Aldridge in Amazon, it'll pop up. But I put pictures and things that if you guys do just the basics, you're going to be going in the right direction. And for most people, if you do just the basics, you'll get 80% better. Okay. For most, unless you had a car accident and had a pin put in, or you dislodged your shoulder because of an accident, that's different. Then you have to kind of go through physical therapy and kind of deal with that and work with that. And that's what I went through when I broke my back. So I get that sometimes it's difficult, but I've made it super, super simple. I had one of the guys I work with, a golf pro, he said to me, God, this is like fitness for dummies. And it's just because it has metrics, you guys can know, oh, I put my feet one box apart today and I'm on the light band. And then next week, I'm going to go to 2 boxes wide with the light band. And so eventually you know where to change this because it's so simple. You're not just doing chaos and movement and all that. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. But I'm curious because I know it says in your bio and stuff, it says you were kind of forced to figure out how to prehab and rehab yourself. Were you finding what they were telling you to do just wasn't working? Or
Well, I still had pain. It was 2 years later and I still had pain. So I had to dive in deeper to say, what do I do to fix what my back was having the issue with at that time? So I could have gave up, but I kept with it. And then I found a few things that relieved the tension. And so those are some of the moves that I teach you guys to help reduce that pain. And the main thing is, if you rehab before you need rehab, you're in good shape. So by doing a wall windmill, by doing a runner stretch, by doing a bretzel, these basic movements, you will start to feel better. And it's, again, brushing your teeth. You don't just brush just the back, right? You don't just brush the top and the bottom. You do back, front, side, all around. That's how your body has to be done. So, for example, if I did a windmill today, I don't have to do a windmill tomorrow. I'll do maybe a bretzel and a spread feet wide and rotate. But if you do a couple things every day, then you can brush the side and the other side. And tomorrow I'll do the bottom, and you're moving it around so you finally get it all. Because you have to do this, because most people sit all day. You know, one of my quick fixes for you guys is sit on a ball. I sit on a ball whenever I'm on a podcast. I sit on a ball. And when I get off that podcast, what do? I just lay back on the ball, open up my chest and shoulders for a minute like this, and then I pop back up and ready to go on the next podcast, right? So it literally is, do a little bit. And this is what I teach when I talk about the hidden risk of being a desk jockey. That's the stuff I talk about. They did a study, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. I forget if it was Shape Magazine or one of these magazines, where they did 6 to 12 weeks of women sitting on a ball in the office, okay? On average, they lost 4 to 6 inches off their waist. Just sitting on a ball. Didn't change the diet, didn't change I was like, that was a stat that just stuck in my head. So not only is it good for you to sit on the ball to lose some weight and tighten up the center, it's much better for your hips, low back, and all that.
Okay, there we go. Oh. Are we good? Or I think I lost you there for a second. Okay, we should be ready now. We had a little bit of a technical issue. So go ahead. You were explaining.
So the ball, guys, if you're sitting on a ball, you could just get up for a second and just sit there and stretch like this and stretch like this. And it just makes your back feel great. And then you could drop to your knees and go like this and open up your back. So if you did this throughout the day and then got back on your ball and just sat there while you did your work, whatever, and then like before lunch, just lay back, open up your chest and shoulders, come back up, and then take off and go to lunch. Those are some simple hacks for you guys to start to feel better, because most people sit in a stagnant chair, or they say they're standing. Standing isn't better for you, because if you have an issue and your body's a little rotated, standing is going to cause an issue. You're going to start saying, God, my back hurts on the left side. Oh, my left ankle hurts. Oh, something's going to go off. So sitting's the new smoking, but standing isn't the fix. Standing just gets. The ball is a great fix in the way of sitting, moving while you do your work. So you're on there. So, and make sure when you get a ball, guys, make sure that when you sit, your hips are above your knees. If you're below your knees and sit here for hours, it'll also make you stiff. So you want, this is my smaller ball. So I have a bigger ball over there that I sit up higher like this, so it'll move me around like that. But that's one key thing to make sure about. So
Yeah, those are a couple of good tips. And I was going to ask you about that, because I could kind of tell, it looked like you were kind of bouncing, and I know more and more people go to that now. Yeah, I know it helps with posture and stuff too, in a way, because you're not just sitting there, you're not, you have a tendency to not rely on the back of the chair. You're kind of forced to sit up the way we should be sitting.
And that uses your core. So as the core gets a little bit stronger, that's what protects your back. So by sitting on the ball, I'm slightly moving like this the whole time. You won't always see me when you think I'm sitting here totally stagnant, I'm not. I'm moving a little bit, right? But for me, I'll sometimes talk and move like this, like just that's what I do. I've been moving since I was a kid, and I was an athlete, and so. But I try to
Yeah.
teach you guys. It's really that simple. Like if you did the ball today, a couple exercises, and then tomorrow you're gonna do the wall windmill and the runner stretch, and the next day I'm gonna do the bretzel, and you do a couple things every day, you just feel better. And it's like the key to this is if you did that exercise today, do a different one tomorrow, do a different one the next day. Then go back on that fourth day, back to your Monday, right? So Thursday is going to be Monday's workout. Friday is going to be Tuesday's workout. And then that way you kind of get a rhythm going because I'm not trying to make everybody out there fitness people. I get busy. I get the understanding of having kids, work, life, family, all that stuff gets you busy. So I don't go to the gym for 2 hours a day like I used to and hang out and chat with the girls and joke around. I don't have that time anymore. So I get that you guys are busy out there, but you have to brush your teeth. It's like saying you're going to skip brushing your teeth 2 days in a row, right? That sounds silly, right? Most people brush twice a day. So think about that. That's literally what people do when they don't use their body the way it was made to be. And the thing I'll teach you guys is how to do it on your own. That's what BAMmetrics is all about. The tools you order, your mat, your blocks, your bands, and then what you do is you do a movement, you do some soft tissue work like with a foam roller or strengthen. So if you did one exercise, the wall windmill, and then you did your foam rolling of your adductor, which is the inside of your leg, and then you did the strengthening with the bands on your knees. So you did some hip strengthening. That's like the premier way to get better. Okay. Most of you out there are trying to strengthen dysfunction. So you go to the gym, you start strengthening the compensations that you have. Those compensations lead to dysfunctions, and the dysfunctions are pain. We have to reverse that. So we have to get moving better, start to foam roll that soft tissue work, get that fascia to loosen up, then strengthen it, and then you will start to feel great. I mean, because I'm 53, I've had 2 hip replacements last year. I went through the gamut because I have bone on bone from years of training and not doing mobility. We used to think mobility was for girls only. We don't do yoga. We don't do it. We don't, what's soft tissue work? What, we don't do that, right? But I'm bone on bone because of it. So if I can get you guys early, less chance of you having a hip replacement, a knee replacement, back injuries, all the stuff that, like people that play golf, they say, oh, that causes back pain. No, golf is not a sport that causes back pain. We just don't move properly. We compensate while we swing, which causes the pain. So that goes for all the sports out there. If you move properly, you won't pull your hamstring. If your hips are level and one hamstring is not longer than the other and things are off, muscles are fighting each other. One's weak, one's strong, one's long, one's short. They're all fighting each other. That's how you get injured. So by doing some of these basic exercises, I mean, I literally have pro athletes that I will teach the basic for, and they've never done it before. I find it absolutely fascinating. These are people that have trained for 20 years. They've seen trainers, physical therapists, they've seen it all. They're a pro athlete for 15 years, and they still don't know this stuff. So you guys are getting an opportunity to get something that's going to really change your life in this way because you can do this on your own. I have videos that you'll follow that you just play one video, learn that exercise, do the soft tissue work, do the bands, and then be done for the day. Go off and do whatever you do. And the thing is, it's complementary to whatever training you do because these exercises need to be mixed in to whatever it is that you're already doing. People say, like, well, I play this sport or I do this. It doesn't matter. The body was made to move like this. So I lubricate the body in all planes of motion, from transverse to sagittal to frontal plane. We hit all the motions of the body with these certain exercises. And the nice thing is you guys are going to start to see, oh, that's where I am. That's where my number is. Oh, that's what I do. And it doesn't matter what your number is, it matters what your number is. You don't compare to others on this training. So
Yeah, we all have a tendency to be in that whole competition thing and compare ourselves to others. But, you're right.
yep.
I mean, movement is the key. I have a few different ones that I've tried and that I've done. And the days that I don't do it are normally the days that I feel worse. And because you're not moving properly, like you said, I've been told that I've had lower back issues for a long time. And I've also been told that I have one side shorter than the other. I have functional scoliosis. And I'm like, I know I can fix this stuff. Doesn't always fix right, but it brings up the point,
100
like when you said standing, I'm like, I can't stand still in one spot. It hurts my lower back to just stand. I can't do that.
Yeah, and that's my point is they're saying your legs shorter because of your spine or what's going on. But what if we get you to start moving your spine and we start to get you to move your hips and then move your ankles and then move your toes where you actually sit on your toes? Most people can't even do that. You want another quick fix to start feeling better? Watch this. Let me pop my shoes off so I can show you guys this. This is like something that everybody takes for granted. But we wear shoes. And what does shoes do? They don't let our toes grip the ground, right? So our toes don't really work properly. So watch this. One of my exercises I teach to all my athletes and all my clients, we have a strap, okay? Put this on your ankles, put your feet together like this, okay? Put the strap down here. It could be a yoga strap. So you just use a yoga strap, tighten that like this, okay? And then you're gonna sit down like this and then sit on your toes, sit back on your toes. Most of you won't be able to do this. You're going to say, oh, this kills my toes, right? And then you rock it back and forth. So I'm stretching my big toe and then my 3 outside toes. Many men won't be able to get their toe on the ground. Their 4th and 5th toe, they won't get it on the ground. They'll be off the ground because they have no flexion in their toes. So they'll be way up here. Okay? You should be able to sit back on your toes and sit there comfortably. Okay? The first time I tried this, I was like, oh my God, my toes. They felt like they were going to break. Like this was not natural. This is like, are you insane? And then the other one is putting your feet flat, sitting back on that, and then you can rock that back and forth while you're just sitting there. So those are 2 great things for many of you out there have plantar fasciitis. You have issues with your feet. You say, I'm flat footed. I have this issue, that issue. This is a way to get those feet to start moving properly. Super easy fixed and very, very effective. So definitely recommend you guys messing around with that one, especially sitting at a desk and all that. You can pop your shoes off, sit on the ground for a second, stay there for a minute or 2. 3 minutes is ideal because it'll get the fascia to open up on your feet, calves, hamstring, hips, up to your neck. It'll stretch that fascia. So we talk about triple extension from hip, knee, ankle. It's actually 4 extensions because the toes, we forget about the toes because we don't use those anymore. And when we walk, our shoes do the work, right? But when you're
Right.
barefoot, you need those toes to grip and push off and do the work. So many people get that thing called plantar fasciitis underneath the foot where it feels like you're stepping on a nail. That's easily fixable. Massaging out the foot with a ball and doing that stretch I just showed you, then doing some foot circles where you do like 40 to the right, 40 to the left, and then 40 point and flex with your ankle. Your feet will start to feel like, wow, you put shoes on and they feel like you're walking on a cloud after doing that routine. It's amazing because it wakes your feet up because our
Oh
feet
yeah,
go to
it's
sleep.
definitely good tips. I mean, like you said, we get reliant on, everything that we have, and you just get so used to it. We stop using parts of our body, I think, and we don't even realize that we do until the pain sets in.
Exactly, exactly. And that's what I try to tell people is it may have taken you 2, 3, 10 years to get to the point where you have pain. And then you want to fix it in like 2 weeks. Like, hey, I've been doing this, but it's not working yet. And it's like, give yourself some time, keep massaging it out, keep brushing your teeth, and it's going to get better in time. I told you it took me 2 years to figure mine out. 2 years. That's a long time to be patient on figuring it out. How do I get rid of this? But now I don't have it anymore. I have zero pain. So
And it's impressive because, I mean, like you said, you've broke your back. We didn't mention the fact that you've broke your ankle before. You've had torn ligaments, and
yep.
obviously you are moving and functioning great. So, truly an inspiration. We are going to have to break real quick for a word from our sponsors, but everybody, I want you
Sure.
to make sure you stay in tune because Bobby's got more tips and tricks to share with you and to tell you more about this BAMmetrics and how it works. It can work for anyone of any age and with any challenge. So we will be right back.
Hi, this is Ken D. Foster, the host of the Voices of Courage show. Join us live on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Pacific, where we help you see the unseeable, know the unknowable, and do the impossible on E360 TV.
Hi, I'm Bobby Aldridge with BAMmetrics. There are so many programs out there that measure your swing speed, sets, reps, your BMI, your body fat, but the one thing they're not measuring that's so essential is mobility. Mobility is the key. If you're measuring your mobility, your performance will get better and you will reduce your pain. I created BAMmetrics to make it easy for people to repeat the exercises so they could do it properly at home on their own. It's simple, it's easy to do, and from a senior to a pro athlete.
And we are back. So many things to cover. And I want to say you touched on so many things that I have struggled with for one point or another. I used to do sales jobs way back in the day where you're standing there on your feet, went to the doctors, thought I had broke my ankle. The guy touched the bottom of my foot. I about flew out of the thing. I'm thinking my problem was the ankle. It's like, oh no, I had plantar fasciitis, what you were talking about. And
Yeah.
it was painful. So, I mean, you go through all the therapies and, to know that there were probably other simpler things that I could have done to fix it. I've also done the shape up shoes. I thought those are cool. I could sit there and rock back and forth on these shoes. It helped. Created such pain in my sciatic nerves and, pain that would
Yep.
drop me to the ground. And the physical therapist said, throw those shoes out. So
Yep, exactly.
you get things you think that are better for you, but they actually, wind up damaging you more. So
Yeah,
tell us.
I call it the shiny object syndrome. So many people are chasing something at that time, but they just don't know what they need. And I'm literally talking to a big company, Skills, a guy that used to start that company, about starting another company because I want to be in all the sports stores where people come in and BAMmetrics and they get to learn how to move properly because this stuff is so simple when you understand it. And I'm not a smart guy, so I've made it simpler and simpler and simpler and simpler. So everyone can do it. And like I said, even the pro athletes aren't doing what I'm teaching. So you guys are getting the same movements that a pro athlete would pay me for, big money, to, hey, I need to move better on the field. I need to do this. So I hope you guys will give it a try as you check out what this is about.
Yeah, and we're going to put that, there's a QR code there that we can scan that'll take you right to Bobby's website. But tell us some more, because I see the map behind you. So what is the idea behind all of that with the moving a little bit? What's the line? You have the lines on the mat, the blocks. I mean, tell us a little bit more about the system and how that works.
So the system's made to let it simpler for you guys to start moving properly and kind of notice how you move, right? So like I was showing you before, if you're going to do something where you spread your feet wide and you're going to do that rotation, how wide are your feet, right? So people do this exercise, but do they know where they are so they can improve it and get better and better, right? So I'm getting wider and wider. So if I'm at 50 right now, and I'm going to use one of my blocks, it's not a yoga block. These are bigger than yoga blocks, and I'll show you why after this, how we use them. But for example, I'm going to put this on 12 inches high right now. My foot's at 50. So that means my hand's going to be at 25 right here in the middle. And so somebody could practice moving like this, right? Just getting used to how to move. So if I do 3 of those on each side, I can go 2 inches wider and go to 52. And I adjust this over 1 inch, and then I can do it again. So it's kind of like weight training, right? You have metrics so you know where you are, and then you can improve that. So you can be a super senior, somebody who's, I have 80-year-old people that do this. So for example, maybe they're at 40, they take 2 blocks, stack them like this, and then they start to practice, right? Very easy. Standing up, I'm at 40 inches, whatever's comfortable for them. But for most men, they are so tight in their adductors right in here. And if you can open these up, okay, you get this better. It feels amazing. One of my fixes for the back pain that we were talking about is this exercise with the rotation. And then to drop to your knee, where I use the line right here to know my foot is out at 53 inches, right? So I'm going to rock back and forth right here at 53 inches. I'm going to try to get out wider to 55 inches. So I'm going to have a certain width when I do this, right? So I can see I'm at 57. Now let's test it on the other side. Can I get to 57? And I go, oh no, I'm a little tighter right now on this side. So I'm out at 56 and I'm pushing out to get to 57. But what you want to do is I want to do this exercise and then I want to foam roll that adductor and then retest my number. Now you see how you're getting a guaranteed result. We're not guessing on where are we? How does it feel? Most people will go further on one side than they do on the other, and they won't even notice the difference. The boxes on the mat make it simple. Like, for example, can you see me over here?
Yes,
If
I
I
can.
teach you guys the wall windmill, I have you do 1 box to start, then 2 boxes, then 3 boxes, 4, and then 5, right? So I'm 5 boxes, and then I'm going to do this windmill 10 times each time. What is this doing? I'm getting my hips to open up. I'm getting internal external rotation. I'm getting my T-spine to open up, right, from the frontal plane. And then I'm getting my rotation in my shoulder. Most men can't get their fingers on the wall when they do this. They can't get their head on the wall. So that one exercise will get you taller. Oh, I had a guy, this is funny. I had a guy that listened to me talk for like 6 hours at this big convention. And he was at the table right next to me. And he goes, hey, can you show me some of those exercises? And this guy used to play for the Green Bay Packers. He's 6'5", 310 right now. 6'5",
Wow.
310. So he's kind of hunched in like this. And I said, let me show you the windmill, the runner stretch, and a wall squat. And so long story, I show him those exercises. So the next day he comes walking in and I'm like, oh my God, you look totally different today. And he goes, Bob, I did those exercises yesterday like 100 times. He said he just kept doing his windmills. He literally walked in taller. And I talked to him actually yesterday, and he said, Bob, I'm still doing my exercise. My wife said, you're looking taller, because he's not the hunched over football guy that's 58 years old now. He's literally standing tall like a big man that he is, and it makes a difference that fast. So
Wow.
our bodies were made to move like this, and it just gives you that opportunity. Let me show you the blocks. This is one of the ones I do every night before bed. These blocks are 6 inches by 10 inches by 12 inches. So if you're a beginner to this, you put them flat like this, okay? So if I showed you, can you see me right here this way?
I can.
So you lay down like this. So I'm set this way. Okay. Now, if you have the range of motion to do it, you can go up higher on the blocks and lay there. So we lay there for 2, 6, 7 minutes, just like this. Okay. And our feet are together and out. Most men cannot get their ankles on the ground. So look at my feet right now. They'll have their ankles up like this instead
Right.
of having them down like this. They should be on the ground like this. But this exercise I do every night before bed. I just lay here for like 6, 7 minutes and I let all that rotation come out of my body. So down on my lower body, I'm getting that internal rotation of my femur. And then I'm getting the upper body to open up while I lay here. So it's literally the opposite of what you do all day. Most of the day, we're rounded forward. We're on computers. We're
Right.
on our texting on our phones. So those blocks open you up. And then there's like 6, 7, 8 other exercises that I teach basic with those blocks to help you out. So then we talk about bands. What are the bands for that go with it? So let me grab a band so I can show you this. But this exercise is really good for your hips, your balance, your knees, especially if you're a runner of any sort. I put my feet 1 box apart and I do the exercise. Next week, I'm going to go to 2 boxes. So I'm going to go 2 boxes apart. In the 3rd week, I'm going to go 3 boxes apart. So what do you do in the 4th week? We change the band, go to the medium band, and start over at 1 box. So you guys now are professionals, all of you, because the boxes help you out. And I have a really funny story about that. I was teaching all these exercises to 20 trainers at one gym. So 3 of them would show up every week. The other 17 didn't think it was very important. They thought it was too easy of exercises. So they didn't come back on the 2nd week, 3rd week. In the 4th week, the boss came and said, "Hey, I want everybody in there today." Okay, so they all came. I laid out 5 mats across. And I said, "All right, guys," I took the black band, the heavy one. I said, "Go across. You have to do 3 boxes, 3 boxes black band." These are all a lot of big, strong, buff trainers, right? So they're literally all walking like this. Oh, ah, because you can't cheat because of the boxes, right? Most people take a big step and then bring it together. A big step, bring it together. So that just means one leg's doing all the work. So if I'm going this way, this leg is doing all the work. I wasn't letting them cheat because of the boxes. And so all of a sudden they're like, "Oh my God, this is so hard," right? Then I
Right.
said, let me show you the medicine ball push-up routine. This is one of my favorite strengthening exercises for everyone. And I have people that are 75 doing this one, okay? We do, because of the mat, there's boxes. We start wide, and then we go in a box, in a box, in a box, in, and then on the ball. Then we go back out. So where we go back and forth, going back out. 7 push-ups in, 7 push-ups out. So what I do is I have people do sets. When you're a beginner, 6 sets of 7. On your 7th set, you try to do more than 7. 14, if you get to 14, then I start you over at 14, 7, 7, as many as you can, only 4 sets, okay? So if you're a beginner, I just put you on your knees and you practice on your knees how to do this, okay? Now, it's not the push-up that's making us so strong. It's the core strength, okay? So I put a band on their ankles because people will walk their feet wide to make it easier. When I put the band on their ankles, it's pure core strength through your shoulder, through your hip, through your toe. So it strengthens the whole body.
Wow.
Make sense?
Yep.
So
Makes sense.
absolute premier exercise, okay? And I've had super great in shape athletes think they can do that and fall on their face on 9. 7, 8, 9, flip on their face. So and for the people that are beginners out there, you just start that on your knees and you just get a feel for what does it feel like? And you just do 7 going in and be done. Take a 1-minute break, and then you would do your second set, like going from inside out. But these are the things that you do with these tools that are so simple to measure yourself and see a result as you start to improve it. I have like 8 exercises with the mat I really like people to do. And then I have like 5 with the blocks that I like them to do. And then I'll have 4 with the bands that are staples. So you'll do like I said, if you did this banded exercise today, then the next time you'll do the seated on the ground and do your um, external rotation with the hips on the ground. And then the next day you'd switch to another standing, maybe against the wall exercise. But I just make it really simple. So you do 1 a day and then improve it that way.
So you have someone that's older, or they have challenges, or they're just getting started. So, I mean, first of all, what's the best way for them to go about getting the system? What can they expect? Because I know you don't want to do everything all at the same time, because nothing worse than
Right.
trying to do everything and then get frustrated. But I like that, Matt, because like you said, it's a lot of times we have little changes and we don't necessarily notice them, but your mat is going to show you that, it's a measurement. You're going to be able to see that you're progressing. So
Yeah.
how would they get started?
Well, you go to BAMmetrics.com. You can see it right there, BAM-metrics, and then go to shop. And then I tell everybody of all the products, order to the mat, blocks, and bands. So get that little kit. And then there's videos that it'll come with that you can watch to literally just learn. Like I said, just do the first video, do that exercise and learn that. If you have more time, you can do the second video too. But they're right there for you to learn how to do this. And it's very simple, but it's very efficient, and it's very results oriented in the way of you feeling better in time. So, like I said, I just showed you some of the best ones possible to make your body feel better. Even if you guys didn't order stuff and started doing some of those exercises, you're gonna feel better. Sitting on the ball right here, you're gonna feel better. So all these little fixes are, like I said, I daily go and help people and coaches. I train trainers, I train physical therapists, I train not just the athletes, I train teams, I train I go around helping people learn to start this stuff. And once they get started, it's just a referral system. So I always ask you guys all out there, if it helps you and you feel good, just share it with one other person, because it does change their life. They now know how to brush your teeth for life. And you'll feel better.
Yeah. And then I think probably the biggest excuse most people have is that they just don't have time, because they're so busy doing
100%.
this and that. I always tell people that you don't have time not to take care of yourself, but
Well, it's crazy how more efficient you'll be at everything else you do if you move better. You know what I mean? How many people see that older person shuffling down the street, barely moving? Think how long it takes them to get to where they're going, right? To get whatever they're done. That takes a lot of time. You
yeah.
don't want to get ever to that point. And I say to people, start now. You won't have hip replacements like I had. You won't have bone on bone. You won't need knee replacements. You won't have all this stuff. It couldn't be any easier for you. And, like I said, I get up in the morning, I'm like an old man. I get out of bed and I'm like stiff, and I walk to the bathroom. I get in the shower, and that's the first thing I do is I do a runner stretch in the shower. I have a seat. So I put my hand on the seat, I get in the runner's stretch, and I do that in the shower. Then I reach up over my head, and then I grab my tricep, and then I get out of the shower, and I'm kind of ready to start moving for the day. But I start every day like that. If I didn't do that, I don't know how people even get started. Like, oh my God, would I be stiff?
It's a slow,
It's like,
painful process.
oh my God, I'm 53. So, I mean, I can't understand 63, 73. Holy mackerel. You must be getting tighter and tighter and more inefficient. But if you mix this stuff in throughout the day, then I come down here and like before the podcast, I'll do the windmills over here. Then I got a second. I love to lay on the blocks. It just feels good, right? So, and I'm kind of lazy. So I want to lay on the blocks. It's easy. And then I'll jump into a pretzel where I do the side and I put the block underneath my knee and I rotate. But like I said, I fit these in throughout the day. So when the day's over, I go upstairs and I watch TV. This is the other thing. If you have TV that you watch, put some of these tools in front of the TV and then pick and choose one or two of them. If you're going to watch an hour show, you could do an hour of mobility while you're watching the show. So many people watch hours of TV a week. So you can fit it in during that time, right?
Yeah.
And I understand this too, where you got to hang out with the wife, you got to watch TV with the wife, so you're not supposed to be on the floor the whole time doing that. So just make it part of the time, and then jump up on the couch and sit with the wife, because I get that too.
Yeah, but I would have to look at it as, hey, they're doing something, good or better, for themselves. Because a lot of times, even me and my fiance will be watching the NASCAR race or something, but got the whole tablet or something. We're doing something, just kind of sitting there. But then when you go to move, and it's like, I'm moving really. It's like, because you get molded in that chair and everything just like stiffens up. I'm 55, so I can relate. I can relate to some of it, and I've had a number of back issues, during my day. And you call them desk jockeys, and it's
Yeah.
probably a pretty good term. I mean, sometimes you have to, depending on your job. When I was in the military working on aircraft, I'm running around, I'm doing this, and that, all kinds of stuff. Never had a problem. I get out of the military. One of my first jobs is being a personal secretary, doing this stuff all the time. Next thing you know, I'm laid up. I got a lumbar sprain going across my lower back. And I'm
Yep.
like, this isn't even physically taxing, but it did damage. It does
But it's
damage.
repetitive. It's repetitive. That's why.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
Definitely. And I would think some benefits, I know you mentioned quite a few benefits, but I would think some of the benefits also is, to be able to not even function, better, but to be able to focus more. Because normally if you're in pain here and there, you really can't fully focus on what you want to, because you have this nagging thing that just says, I'm in pain, and it's distracting.
Yeah. Well, that's why I talk about it with corporate wellness, is because your employees will be more efficient with their movement at work, because they're able to think, they're breathing better, they're in better. Like laying on those blocks opens up your chest and shoulders, so you're able to breathe better. So that makes them more efficient. Because if you're kyphotic and rounded forward, you're cutting off your air supply. So they can't breathe properly. That means they're going to be less efficient at their work, at whatever they're doing. But as they start to breathe better, also migraines, headaches, things that go on with people, those blocks open up your chest and shoulders and put you in a better position, which takes that tension off for a migraine or a headache or things that people are having. Being hydrated is super key also. Drinking enough water every day. I have right here my Nalgene water that I drink 32 ounces. And then I have 2 of these in the car.
Yep.
So when I get in the car, I just drink, and then I put it down. Go do whatever I'm going to do. And then come back to the car, I drink again. I don't even drink to be thirsty. I drink to drink. So I put it in. Sitting here in a commercial break, I grabbed and had a little drink, right? So if you drink when you're thirsty, you're way behind, okay? You should never be thirsty. You should never feel like you need water. That means you're dehydrated, okay? And when you're dehydrated, you lose 50% of your strength in the way you feel, okay? So, and talking about this, where I really knew this was working was when my son was 12 at my other facility. They got off practice and they said, Papa, can we have a bench press contest with the bar? And I said, sure. So they get on the bar and they do it, and they do 18. Then the high school kids jumped in and they did 38. And then the college kids jumped in and they did 78, and then said, Bob, what can you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm not as strong as I used to be. I used to bench 315 and I could do 104. And I remember doing it. My shoulders were on fire when I did it. So 104, and I'm thinking, now I bench about 250, so I'm not as strong. Oh, that's going to be hard to get 70, 79, right? So I get on there and I'm like, I got to get 79. That's all I'm thinking, 79, 79. I got to show these kids, right? My ego took over. So I get going. I get 75, 100, 150, 200. I did twice as many now, and I'm older, right? I was 49 at the time.
Mhm.
And I said, oh my God, I'm more functional. It wasn't a strength issue. I'm more functional. I'm in a better position, my chest and shoulders, so I could keep going. And then my triceps gave out. I never felt it in my shoulders, where last time I was the bodybuilder, big and buff, but I was benching like this and my shoulders were feeling it, right? This
Right.
time I was in a perfect position. So I tell everybody, as you do these exercises, you get more efficient with your movement, which makes you stronger, which takes your pain away. So it was like, oh, an eye-opening thing to me to go, oh my God, this workout is awesome. Those medicine ball push-ups are making me super strong. That's all I do for upper body strength and pull-ups. That's it. I don't bench press, I don't deadlift, I don't do all that stuff because I don't have time. I'll do it once in a while, but I'm
Hmm.
not that fitness guy anymore. I'm not, trying to be ripped and well, always in shape. I want to feel good so I can play golf when I have a chance to. And I want to be able to rotate and move and hit the ball long and all that sort of stuff. So I'm telling all of you out there, as you do this, you will get more efficient, you will feel better, and you'll really like how easy it is to do. So
So when people sign up, they get the blocks, they got the system, and they have access to the videos and stuff. Do you ever do coaching with them one-on-one? Do you ever have people that have a need to do that, or is that available?
oh yeah, they can do if you email me at bobby@bammotion.com, and it's BAMMOTION, bammotion.com. I can talk to you about what is it you're trying to do. And a lot of times I always say I'm a one-hit wonder. I have one session with somebody and they start feeling better just because I go right into the point of what is the problem, right? Why does their
Mhm.
foot hurt? Oh, it's because your right hip is not working properly. So I teach them how to do that. 2 weeks later, they're feeling perfect. And so if you guys reach out to me, I can definitely help you with that. And then I could talk to you about, what your goals are. That's the main event. If you email me, I'll drop my schedule in there, and then you'll have access to my schedule to pick and choose a day that works for you guys. But I do a lot of Zoom calls, especially with athletes that are all over, the world. So they want to learn how to use the blocks. How will these help me? Can you train my trainer? Sure. So I teach their trainer how to do it, spend 2 hours with them. And then they might check in with me every couple of weeks to say, hey, can you add a few more? What do you think? Da 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 da. So
Yeah,
yeah.
because I mean, a lot of times what I think some people struggle with, I did it sometimes, was systems that you're supposed to do this, this, and that. I'm like, okay, great, but I've already got, extreme. It's like if it's already painful to do it, there's got to be something to work up. So normally to have somebody that can meet you where you're at and figure out what's going on with you, and then you can tell them where to start, kind of gives them a little bit more guidance, I think, to help them through the
Well,
system.
it definitely helps, that's for sure, because I can see you moving, right? So if you order the mat blocks bands, you get them in the mail. You just text me during that time, or I mean, not text me, email me, bobby@bammotion.com. I can set a schedule for you. So when you get your tools, we could just go through the first session, answering some questions, showing you the basics, get an understanding of these different movements, spend an hour, hour and a half. And then all of a sudden you go like, wow, I can do this, and then it's like you can check in with me every 2 weeks or once a month and just, how's it going? Right. Because I'll give you the stuff to do. And I have an app that I use called True Coach where I can send you the exercises on your phone so you can see exactly what to do on what day. So I write it out for like corporate wellness people, the employees. I'll write out Monday, do these two, Tuesday, do these two, Wednesday, do these two, and simplify it for you that way. So that's how I can help individually that way. And eventually maybe hop you on one of the calls where I have on 500 people and you guys just learn while I talk about, hey, today we're going to talk about back pain. I'm going to go through 5 movements. It's 15 minutes. You guys are on there and you learn. That's what I'm trying to really move towards so I can help more people at once, because people should not be in pain as often as they are. They just don't know how to get out of it. And going to physical therapy a lot of times takes time. It's hard to get there. And then they don't know how to do their exercises at home because it's like, how do I do that banded exercise? How far should I stand from the door? It's all, they're trying to do it, but they're not doing it exactly as they need to do it. And with my tools, you're going to do it exactly as I need you to do it. Start on 6 inches. Next week, we're up on 10 inches. The week after, you're up on 12 inches. I know exactly where you are and what you can do. So it makes it easier for you guys to get that result you're chasing. Just think about it. If you went to the gym and everything in the gym had no numbers, just grab things and throw it on the bar. How does that feel? That's how everybody does fitness. That's how everybody trains. It's chaos, right? How
Right.
many sets, how many reps, how wide should I put my feet? How much foam rolling should I do? Should I do a minute, 30 seconds, 2 minutes? It's just chaos. With the tools, there's no more chaos. I literally have a guy in my book, oh God, what's his name? He's a big time chiropractor who trains all the chiropractors and physical therapists in movement. He said, Bill O'Grady, he goes, oh my God, kid, you have the safety pin to movement. You basically have a pin that you put in to lift 10 pounds. You pull it out, you put it down on 20 pounds. You pull it out, put it down on 30 pounds, right? In the weight stack. He said, that's what my tools do for people in this world. And he's actually in my book. I put him in there with his quote. And anyway, so
And then that's awesome too, because you can check your ego at the door. Because normally when you go to the gym, the ego kicks in, or it's like, oh, don't want to be outdone by this guy, or don't want to look weak. You overdo it, you wind up causing more damage. But I really appreciate you taking the time to be on here and sharing this with us. It's definitely a system I think I need to add to my other things that I have, because there's some definite unique differences. And like you said, we're always in front of the computers on this, and we're not in the right posture or space that we are supposed to be.
yeah, and like I
But
said, if you added just like 5 of these movements, just 5, right? Where you did one a day, or you could do a mixture of them, you're gonna notice pretty quickly, like my football player who just recently tried it. It was like eye-opening to him how fast it worked, and it's like, if you are a fitness person, it will work faster on you because you already move. Now it's just moving properly, moving in the way that your body was made to move, to get your hands on the wall, to get that to open up. The simple things, do the simple, build the foundation of the house, then go to the first floor. Everybody jumps first floor, second floor. They're on the shiny object, second floor.
yeah,
And then they're like, oh my God, my back is killing me. Like, oh, I can't squat anymore because my back hurts. No, you can't squat because your hip doesn't move properly. So you're compensating while you squat. And yes, it's tweaking your back. So don't squat right now until you move better. Remember, if you add strength to compensation, that's the dysfunction that causes the pain. That's how simple it is to fix it. So if we move properly, then we can add the strength to it, and then you're going to be fine and healthy.
yeah, that is awesome. And definitely lots of good tips in there. Definitely things that I need to keep in mind and do. It's amazing. The more I see and meet some of you guys, I find myself kind of like straightening up, because I'm like, okay, I'm not sitting. It's just like this little ping reminder that says, hey, you got to sit up straight. But I really want to thank you for taking the time and sharing with that. We have a couple of quick minutes. What is on the horizon for you? I know you said you wanted to get out more. What is your goals for?
I want to just get the word out more. The hardest thing for me is marketing at the time, and I've got a couple key athletes I'm working with right now. One for the PGA Tour, who's trying to get out there. He's a superstar at the moment. He's won 2 tournaments just recently. And then I have an NBA guy who's trying to get into the NBA, who I'm working with right now. But it's really exposure. It's really, you guys that are listening, give this a try. Really try it out, and then share it with a friend. That's what I'm going after, is the exposure. And I was literally texting or emailing yesterday Lucasfilms again, because we're supposed to meet. I'm supposed to do a corporate wellness program with them, Lucasfilms and Pixar. So I need a shot with someone to grow this to the level that it should be at. That's why I'm on these podcasts all the time, trying to get the word out and share it, and because it's working so amazing. Like I said, for me to do 200 with the bar, it was eye-opening. Like,
Oh, yeah. Think we might have lost you there for a second again.
it was working that well. Anyway, I hope you guys give it a shot, and that's what's on the horizon. Share it with somebody, and I hope this will grow.
Absolutely. And thank you for spending your time with us today and sharing that. I definitely highly recommend checking out his website and checking out the BAMmetrics systems. But until next week, make sure that you be there and you be mindful. And you definitely want to be mindful when it comes to your movement and your body. So check out the BAMmetrics. But thanks again for joining. And we will see you guys next week.